Hello, everybody. Um, when the federal government runs a budget deficit, it borrows money from privately owned commercial banks and the Bank of Canada, which is owned by us. When the Bank of Canada and commercial banks purchase government securities from the federal government, they create brand new digital money. In essence, these are loans to the government. The banks create money for the government of Canada the same way they would if you or I were to acquire a loan. So how does this process work? Auctions held at the Bank of Canada on behalf of the government of Canada sell bonds and treasury bills to government securities distributors, which are a group of banks and investment dealers in the domestic market, and to investors around the world. A certain percentage of these debt instruments are allocated in non-competitive bids to the Bank of Canada, and the managing director of the Financial Markets Department determines what percentage the Bank of Canada will acquire. Since 2011 till now, the percentage has been anywhere between 14 and 20%. Currently, the Bank of Canada holds a little over $100 billion in government debt, and it's comprised of approximately 77% bonds and 33% treasury bills. These government securities distributors then resell securities bought at auctions to their wholesale and retail clients in the secondary market. Ultimately, the Government of Canada marketable securities are widely held and can be found in insurance company investment portfolios, corporate investment funds, fixed income funds, and pension funds. Now, let's return to the budget deficit. When taxation does not cover the requirements of government spending, it auctions off bonds and treasury bills to make up the difference. And of course, this adds to our national debt. And by now, I think you can probably surmise who the debt is owed to. About 68% of the debt is owed to Canadians. Among domestic investors, insurance companies and pension funds held the largest share of Government of Canada debt, followed by financial institutions and the Bank of Canada. The other 32% are owned by foreign investors, and currently our accumulated deficit sits at a little under $700 billion. So now you're probably asking yourself, what does this all mean to me? Well, it means that we must pay the interest on the outstanding debt, and we do that through taxation. Approximately 7.7% of federal taxes that you and I pay are used to service the national debt. Canada's total government net-to-debt GDP ratio stood at 27.8% in 2017 and is the lowest level among G7 countries and is less than half of the G7 average, which IMF estimates stood at 87.5% of GDP in that same year. So with regard to the national debt and our ability to service it, we are in a relatively good position. And I think that's it. So I hope this video has helped illuminate any misunderstandings people might have about how the national debt is financed, or at least gives you the basics of the structure. Anyways, thanks for your time, and you have a good day.